I don't need to have my worship be under this ideology of emotionalism or the place that I am in. Rather, my worship of God can be anywhere because I worship God alone and not a building or not a mood or not an ambiance. Rather, it is God alone who is worthy of my praise. You see, an individual who has to have the right ambiance and mood and everything else set right worships a place and not God. They worship a feeling and not God. They worship their emotions that are conjured up when they get into that place, but not God. But you see, as we have learned, the worship of God is not limited to a building or a specific place. It cannot be, because God is far, far greater than that. You see, when the church becomes an institution, what it does is it limits the Spirit of God and in turn limits the worship of God to the building. And there are two major errors that I see in this. The first is the one who says that God is confined to places. What do they end up doing? Well, when they're at the church, they worship Him. But when they're outside of the church, what is their life like? Just like those who are within the world. They live as if they are not a Christian. They think that, well, God's not here, and I'm not where God is, and so I can just do whatever it is that I want. I'll watch whatever I want, I'll listen to whatever I want, and I'll do whatever I want. But when I go to the church, you better believe I'm not going to do any of that. Far be it from me to not have reverence for the house of God. It becomes this idea where our worship becomes confined to just a few set hours, when in reality our whole lives are to be a life of worship to God. But also, the second error I see in this is that this is the tendency of anyone can get into this tendency because we still live in the flesh. And in the flesh, we often want to do it our way. We say, God, it's just so much easier to worship you at the church. The pastor directs me to open up my Bible. The worship leader gets me to sing some songs. I just don't have the ability to do that. I just can't do that for myself. I can't open up your word at home. Well, why not? I can't sing worship songs when I'm at home. Well, why not? Well, it's because you have been trained. You have been trained in your own flesh to relegate the worship of God to how you wish to do it rather than what God has said.